Welcome to Foxfire Focus, the podcast that brings clarity and insight to the industry's most relevant issues. Foxfire's mission is to provide the best service experience in eye care. So, we hope you enjoy what you're about to hear and that this information provides some perspective on the exciting opportunities facing our profession. For more information about Foxfire, please visit us at foxfiresg.com. Foxfire, taking care of your practice so you can manage your patients.
All right. Hello and welcome to Foxfire Focus, a podcast about the business of eye care. Today, I'm delighted to have our guest, Howard Partridge, with us. Howard may not be a name familiar to a lot of people in eye care, but if you're in the business world and you know the names of John Maxwell and Zig Ziglar, you probably know the name of Howard Partridge because he has worked shoulder to shoulder with all of those. Howard, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
You know, you've got a compelling story. I love hearing about how you grew up and how you kind of came to be where you are now. Share a little of that with us.
You bet. Well, I'm originally from L.A., Lower Alabama. And my wife doesn't laugh at my jokes either, so it's okay. But I grew up in Mobile, Alabama on welfare. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600 square foot shack. And the roof on that house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. My mother fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. I don't care when that was. It just was a lot of money. And so when I was a teenager, I was actually almost 18 years old. I got in a fight with my stepdad. I got kicked out of the house. I deserved it. I was a wild kid. And I had no money. And my friend and I bummed up enough money for a Greyhound bus ticket to Houston, Texas. And I stepped off of that Greyhound bus with literally 25 cents in my pocket. I became a waiter and I worked in all these really high-end restaurants in Houston. And still just made enough money really to pay the rent. Then I met my wife, Denise Cajet Antoinette Pinella. Now that's Italian from New Jersey, and I'm from where? Lower Alabama. This is going to be a good match. She told me to keep my mouth shut because I have an accent. Anyway, Zig had something to say about that. He said, if you take an old boy from the South and you take him up there and he stays too long, he's going to come back with an accent. He said, but if you take an old boy from the North and you bring him down South and he stays long enough, he'll be talking normal. So anyway, when I was at the wedding, an Italian wedding, you don't get wedding presents, you get cash. And there's even a little purse that goes with the dress where the relatives give you envelopes with cash. And so we got $3,000 in wedding money in these envelopes in cash. And there was a friend of the family, same age as me. I was 23 at the time. He's tooling around a little red Mercedes convertible. And I said, I want to know what that guy does. And I want to know if it's legal. And so turns out he had his own business. So I get back to Houston and where we lived and spent the entire $3,000 starting my first business out of the trunk of my car. My wife was really thrilled about that. Well, for the next 13 years, I made good money, but I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was a slave to that business. And then I learned what I now call the secrets of a phenomenal business, which I learned from one of my mentors, Michael Gerber. Said that the system is the secret of a business. Got my business systematized, turnkey, and it's a multi-million-dollar business. I never have to be there. I've got a great team, great systems in place. We obviously have financial controls and all that, but people wanted to know how I was doing it. So I started doing some teaching and training and doing presentations and associations and things like that. And they wanted more from me, so I started writing manuals and things like that. Today, that same company, Phenomenal Products, is coaching in 100 different industries in 20 different countries. I have a team of coaches, and written books. In fact, I'm on my way to a meeting right now about my 13th book that I just finished, and became the exclusive small business coaching company for the Zig Ziglar organization. That's why I have my very own pump and Mr. Ziglar's picture right there. He's always looking over my shoulder. And anyway, they asked me to help them run the company. So I helped Tom Ziglar run the company. And what we do is we simply help business owners, whether that's doctors, CPAs, attorneys, plumbers, whatever, coaches, authors. We help them build what we call a predictable, profitable turnkey operation so that they can not only make more money in their business, but they can also have a life. In other words, we help people to get out from under the business running you and help you, as Michael Gerber says, work on the business instead of in the business.
Yeah, that's neat. Now, I imagine that right now there's probably an optometrist about to turn this off because they're thinking, yeah, that's great about business, but optometric practice or medical practice, that's different from business. Speak to that.
Sure. Well, I would ask the following questions. If you're the best optometrist in the world, but you didn't have any clients, would it still be a good business? Would it still be a good practice?
Yeah.
You'd be working for somebody else. So we all have to have marketing, right? We have to have a way of attracting new patients in this case. We need to have some level of sales. I know that probably most people who come in are going to already be sold on the doctor for whatever reason. That's great. But there's all sorts of other things that happen there, which I won't get in those details. But I was working with an optometrist one time, and he's like, I can't get my girls to sell glasses. You know, they present the glasses, and then the client goes, the patient goes down to Walmart and buys those glasses. So their people had to be trained. And then operations, and that's everything you do to serve your clients. And so, you know, what happens when someone answers the phone? What happens when someone comes in? Are they delivering the highest level of service experience possible? Have they been trained in that area? And you're back there with patients. So how much time do you really have to train people, right? And so it's about that. I mean, again, you can be the best optometrist, but if people don't have a great experience when they come to your practice, or it's an okay experience, it's not. You want the most phenomenal service experience ever. Then, of course, is administration, all the tracking and stats, which can be a big job in a practice like yours. And I know you guys have software for a lot of this stuff. And so not having to deal with all that yourself and not just having a person that when they're out sick or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when you have systems, it doesn't require that you have to have one person that handles everything like a general manager. So you get better results. And then the final one is actually the first one, which is leadership. And everything rises and falls on leadership. And the toughest person to lead is ourselves. So my experience has been that if you become a better leader, a better business owner, a better practice owner, you're going to have more time for yourself. You're going to have a smoother business. You're going to have less stress. You're going to get better results. And one of these days, whenever you exit the business, what are you going to have? Are you going to have a practice that's really saleable? And the better your systems are, then the more saleable and probably the more money you're going to get for it. So that's what we do.
Yeah. Now, let's say, okay, I'm sold on the idea. I'm tired of being a slave to my business. You know, I want this thing in 2023 to be the best that it can be. What's my first step?
Well, your first step is to probably download my book. I mean, because
would that be this one?
well, actually, that's a really good one to start because, and then the middle one, The 5 Secrets of a Phenomenal Business. So the difference between those two books is the 5 Secrets shows you how to the components of a system, right? So how to systematize your business. And it gives you a lot of insights into those 5 systems: leadership, marketing, sales, service, and finance. The one that you have in your hand, FTI, is about this. Even when you have your systems and you know what to do, you got a lot of processes already, probably.
Yeah.
The thing is that I think everybody watching this would agree that the number one reason that small businesses don't grow or do as well as they could is because of something I call FTI, failure to implement.
Right.
Either on the part of the doctor, because you're so busy, you can't get everything, because the team is not fully engaged. You don't have the right people. They don't have a vision. You don't have infrastructure for them to work in. And so in this book, I share 10 principles that if everybody on that team, lives by these particular principles, we're all going to get better results, have more fun doing it, have less stress, and get the right things done at the right time.
Right. Howard, I've got to confess, as I've read your books, I haven't learned anything new, but I have realized that if I knew this all this time, why haven't I put it into practice? Why have I not implemented this if I've heard it over and over and over again? And I think optometrists are guilty of this. We go to the same seminars and we've heard things for years now, but nothing has changed. How do you get that foot to bend far enough back to kick yourself in the seat of the pants to get yourself into action?
Well, it's a whole lot easier to let somebody else do it for you.
And that's where coaching comes in, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So training is one thing. And like you said, in your industry, you have a lot of training. There's a lot of information, but information doesn't necessarily translate into implementation. Right. So everybody needs more support. Everybody needs more encouragement, and everybody needs more accountability. And it may not even be the doctor that needs that. The doctor just maybe needs somebody to come along and assist the team because, again, you're busy with patients. You're busy with, all the other duties of being a doctor. So you learn it, but you need to have the time and the space to implement it. So why not get somebody to help you? I'm sitting in this chair right here because I had coaches, I had people, I had mentors. I knew what to do. In most cases, I knew how to do it. That wasn't the question. I just didn't do it. And so I like to go through the list of why we don't implement, right? Is that lack of time? No, everybody has the same amount of time. Now, doctors have less time and business owners in general have less time because most business owners, like Michael Gerber says, are technicians, practitioners who decide to go into business for themselves. So now, in addition to optometry, you got marketing, you got sales, you got service, you got operations, you got leadership, you got training, you got all of this stuff. And that's why we end up being overwhelmed. So what we need to do is, I think part of what we do is we raise awareness that there is a better way. You don't have to live that way. Listen, you might be very successful. You might make plenty of money. But my question is, could there be less stress? Could you get even better results? Could your workplace be a more harmonious place to work, and could it be easier on you if your team was empowered? And the answer, of course, is yes, right? So being aware, and so what happens is when people read a book like FTI as an example, and they start realizing that, oh, that's that's me. We become aware of not only what we can do, but we become aware of where the holes are, right?
Mhm.
What do you do when you go to when I go to an optometrist? What's the first thing that an optometrist does?
They start asking questions.
They start asking questions.
Right.
What does a good coach do? They start asking questions.
Right.
So I ask a lot of questions in that book. In fact, there are 12 questions in that book. 12 questions. You got to find them. I'm not going to tell you exactly what you got to find them in there, but they're in there.
Okay.
And so it raises awareness that, hey, maybe I'm not doing as good as I could be doing. Maybe my practice could be more successful. Maybe I could have a little less stress in my life, and it could be a little less stressful in the office. We get better results, have more fun doing it as we work together, and we get more of the right things done in the right way at the right time. And so, once you raise awareness, and that's what happens at a seminar. You go to the seminar, and man, you're pumped up, you're excited, you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And you come into the office, Monday morning comes, and you're faced with the reality
Of people that do not want to change.
Yeah, they weren't at the seminar. They weren't at the seminar.
Yeah.
So we got to get them on the same page. And then once we become aware, and we that book is a lot about focus, that we get focused. That's just the beginning. And then practicing the habits, the whole team practicing the habits of implementation and practicing those principles every single day. And we have a process in there where it comes to a fine point where this is what you have to do day in and day out to make it happen.
Yeah. There are people watching this, and I confess I am guilty of having thought this in the past, of looking at someone who's very successful, and they say, wow, that Howard, he just must be a born businessman. He must just have somehow or another he got all the DNA of a perfect businessman, and he's just living it out, and I'll never be that successful. Well, what's the problem with that?
Well, the problem with that is, first of all, I never wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to have a business, but I never wanted to be even remotely conceived of the image of a hard charging businessman.
Right.
Today,
that's optometrists as well. We're what I call accidental business owners. We want to be optometrists, not business owners.
I just want to take care of my clients. I don't want to worry about all this other stuff.
Right.
And I found myself, again, making good money, but working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not what I signed up for. And that happens to most people. And even if we have doctors that are listening to this or watching this, and they say, well, I don't really feel that way. It's not that bad, whatever. My question is, could it be better?
Yeah.
And we actually have an assessment that people can take to see how their business systems are. So, no, I was not. Now, everybody has gifts. Mine happens to be, I know how to, I love people. I know how to connect with people. I know how to build relationships. Sometimes doctors end up being kind of on the other spectrum, that you're very, very technically oriented, maybe not as outgoing. We use the DISC model of human behavior. I'm a DI, outgoing, get things done, have fun, connect with people. A lot of times doctors, in fact, one of my team members, I've known her for her whole life, and she's in her 30s now, and she's worked for me for, I guess, about 5 or 6 years now. and maybe a little longer than that. But anyway, she married an optometrist.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah. And so I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's very technical. He's a great guy and all that, but he's a doctor. He's not a marketer. He's not a salesperson, right? But there are specific things that you can put into practice where it'll bring more clients to you, more patients to you. And there's just things you can do in your organization to tweak it. And by doing so, everybody benefits from it. Even your patients. If you love your patients, like get systems in place so that you have, the best systems where their experience is at the highest level.
Yes.
And then what's going to happen? They're going to tell other people about you.
Better than a billboard. Right.
Way better than a billboard.
You're a busy guy. I don't want to hold you up. I know you've got things that you need to be doing, but you, in your books, I'm impressed. You live by truth. You're always looking for the truth, and you've got the books just chock full of quotes that mean a lot to you, and I think are easy for people to take these little nuggets and use them in their lives. So as we close out, give me a few of your favorite quotes.
Well, of course, the one that comes to mind first is Mr. Ziegler's most famous quote, and his favorite quote to the day he passed away is, you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what it is that they want. That's one of my favorites. Let's see. Maybe I need to grab my FTI book here for a second. Here's a workbook that we have. How about this? If you pump long enough, hard enough, and enthusiastically enough, sooner or later, the reward will come forth. We go to a seminar, we read a book, we get some great information, we're excited, but that excitement doesn't last, as I talked about earlier, because, it takes time. And one of the principles in this book, FTI, this is a workbook that we have that goes with it. And the last principle is the patience principle. You can do all this stuff, but it takes time to develop, right? If you do eye surgery, then there's gonna be a healing process, right?
Yes.
But at the end of that healing process, you're gonna be able to see better, right? Let's see what else we got here.
Hey, I'll share one that I found. I love this one. From Helen Keller, a fellow Alabamian.
Yes.
He said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight with no vision.
Yes. Helen Keller.
Yeah.
Helen Keller. Yeah. Looking for one that would just be like perfect for doctors. I guess I would say this, that, you don't just give out a prescription, right?
Right.
You don't just give out you don't just give out a prescription without a diagnosis, right?
Correct.
You need to know
it's tailored.
It's tailored. So you want to know how my eyes are doing. You want to examine my eyes, and I go to the eye doctor, and I'm always grateful that my eyes are very healthy and everything, but I'm paying attention to what she's doing. And so I just suggest that people do the same thing with their business, because the fact is that I might think, hey, I don't have any problems. I'm seeing okay. I'm good. But there might be something going on in there that I'm not aware of, or they do the test and they find out that I could have better glasses. And so that's all we want to do, is we want to be the optometrist for your business, that we want to help you see better. You're talking about vision. And so we want to help you see what your business could be.
Yeah.
And We love working with successful business owners. We're not just looking for people who are like struggling and desperate, like, oh my God, I'm working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't have a life. My family's left me and my friends have left me and my dog left me. That's not, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we know it can be better. Yeah. And we want to help you.
Howard, thank you so much for your time. If you want to learn more about Howard and the work that he does, you can go to howardpartridge.com, correct?
Yes. In fact, they'll be able to get a webinar and download that book right there, The 5 Secrets. So I'll close with this, that our most successful business owner members, we have a membership platform, just learn the proven systems and implement them.
Right.
And the way that they learn them is they show up. The way that they implement them is they get coaching. So whether you get involved with us or whoever it is, just find the system, find the wheel that works, and get the support, the encouragement, and the accountability you need to make sure that you and your team are implementing that every day.
All right. Good advice. Thank you so much, Howard, for your time.
My pleasure.
All right. Look forward to seeing you again on Foxfire Focus.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.